Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub and your facilitator here at the Captain's Table. What is the Captain's Table? Well, this is a podcast dedicated to Star Citizen, where we're bringing people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about the game. Sometimes it's news, sometimes it's theory crafting, sometimes it's just shooting the stuff and talking about things. So today joining us is a new face and a not so new face. We'll start with the more experienced one here, ExpatBrat. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
Hi, I'm ExpatBrat. Nice to be back. I basically turn Star Citizen into my own movie experience, whether it be a romance, an action film, a murder mystery, or some good old-fashioned 1980s action. That's pretty much what I do over on my channel, and I do it live. We'll have a good time.
And that's on Twitch or YouTube?
That is on Twitch, twitch.tv/ExpatBrat.
Awesome.
And I do have a YouTube, but it's just for VODs, I'm not one of you fancy YouTubers.
Fancy. It's fancy YouTubers, yes. And then we've got a newer face to this, Mr. RedMonsterSC. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Yeah, well, yes, I'm RedMonsterSC. I am here on twitch.tv/RedMonsterSC and also YouTube under the same handle, RedMonsterSC. I am an industrial-focused player. I do a lot of mining. You might have seen some of my charts out there, and I've got a thing for industrial gameplay. And I'm here every Sunday morning. We do mining sessions with my group on Twitch. And then my YouTube channel is just dedicated to tutorials and more concise guides for those looking to get into industrial gameplay specifically.
Awesome. All right. Well, today, this discussion we're going to be talking about today is Invictus focused, because we had two big things. We had 319 go live. Invictus, the launch week began, and of course, a new ship coming out. So with that being said, let's start with the first kind of topic, which is just go over 319s, goods and bads. I will start to say that it is a surprisingly dense patch for what it is. But there's definitely some changes which were a little bit controversial, to say the least. I'll start with you, Red Monster, this one. What are your goods and bads from this latest patch?
Ooh. Mining gameplay is completely changing with 319. They've rebalanced where all the minerals are coming in. All of the equipment that you're going to be using is changing. And I think there are a lot of really great things that have happened. I think there's going to be some aspects that I think they've still missed the mark on. I hope they've got better polishing for those in the future. But yeah, mining has changed completely. We've also got the new salvage missions that I'm excited to get into. Played around briefly with those, but looking to get more involved as we get those going on.
Anything else? Any negatives or positives? Anything like that really stands out for you? Thank you personally.
For me personally, right now with the free flight and stuff, we've had the 30K issues, and as someone who likes to mine a lot and loses my loads and all my backup gear, that's been a frustration. But that does tie into one of the positives. We can now swap equipment in the field with the tractor beam attachment, which is huge. So when things work, I'm excited about that all ironing out. So
have you tested out the saddlebags? The swapping of saddlebags? Do you think does that work?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of PTU. I actually was looking at going through and moving my prospector, because every subscriber's got the mole right now. Mm-hmm. But taking out the mole that I've got from that subscription, pulling those bags off, and just hoping I don't crash my prospector. That's probably the best way to get after it. So
okay.
It seems to work. I've gotten reports from several people that's a thing that's happening now. But I will preface it with the fact that the prospector, I think, is a less capable solo mining than if you were to just solo mole. So.
Oh wow! Okay, that's a hot take. So the mole is more efficient now than the prospector, even solo.
For solo mining, you've got an improved laser power. You've got 3 separate laser loadouts that you can do on the mole. Even if you're solo, you can just choose which one of those lasers and specialize them. And then 96 SU of cargo space. Even swapping the bags to get 48 on the Prospector, it still doesn't catch up. So
yeah, wow. All right, Expat, your thoughts on 319 so far?
Well, apart from the odd 30K here and there, I mean, an average of say 2 to 3 per session. Actually, yesterday, not a single 30K, 8 hours going
Wow.
on the same server. And the interesting thing was that when the back end servers were going down and everyone was like, struggling to get into the game, I was still in the game. Now, I noticed that the ASOP terminals froze up. There were times when I couldn't call a ship. Luckily, I was in there. I wasn't in there alone, so I had some people that could come and pick me up from the station and stuff like that. There was ways of kind of working around it, but I mean, there were like really big problems for like logging in, etc. But I was amazed how A, smooth it was, B, I mean, apart from going to Lorville where your frames disappear, but like good frame rates. And yeah, like overall, I'm relatively impressed considering what I heard about the last one.
Okay. Yeah, because you didn't really experience 318?
No, I went and took a break while everyone else, when everyone else's computers were on fire. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to something else for a sec. And it was really good actually, because I've come back and 319 is like 319 now. Yeah, it's not perfect, and like today, interestingly, well, yesterday we were doing a lot of testing with those two ships there, but today we were on a Carrack. And little things like we died and we couldn't respawn in the Carrack and ended up back at our home base. And I was like, oh, like things like that, little things here and there, little bugs are really nasty ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe that was just a freak thing, or maybe that is a genuine thing that's a problem at the moment.
Because this is going to be asked. It's going to be asked in my comments. It's going to be asked in chat, and I see it a lot. In your experience with 318 versus 319, I'll start with you, Expat, and then I'll go with you, Red, on this one. Do you think that this is better or worse than 318?
This is an evolution. This is an evolution. So, yeah, an evolution. I would say they obviously tried to hammer the tech side of things in 318. You obviously had Xeno Threat, which is obviously persistent entity streaming's nightmare. So there's Invictus and the Free Fly. I guess the player number should be up. It's running significantly better than I expected, considering. So yeah, I would say it's an improvement, but it's steps in the right direction technologically, I guess.
It's moving there, but you wouldn't say it's like a leap and bound better than your experience in 318.
If I'm talking about 318 PTU, 318 PTU was pretty damn good.
I'm talking about 318
apparently
live.
when it hit the live.
Yeah.
Well, like I said,
you didn't play.
I've only heard about the apocalypse, but I didn't experience it. Thank goodness.
Red Monster, same question for you. Versus 318 versus 319. Better, bad?
As someone who experienced the apocalypse of the 318 release, it was launch day. I was trying to get in for a mining session, and I'd be a party lead. I'd launch with 6 or 8 people. Half of them would get in, and I'd be stuck and get hung with entity counts. And it got to the point, I set up a voice attack macro to just keep trying to log myself in. I set up a card table, and I built Legos for 8 hours. Just trying to get in. Now that was some of the worst, because 318 with all the features and stuff. But honestly, I feel like 319 is an improvement, and the things they were doing in 318, they were obviously taking a hammer and just trying to beat persistent entity streaming, and we saw that with them pushing events like Xeno Threat, things that are known to cause like major server performance issues. And as frustrating as that was, like, I'm not CIG. I'm not one of the network engineers that's deciding what these tests are going to do. But but I'm sure and we've heard that from Captain Silo that the data they're collecting there is crucial to making persistent entity streaming work. And I think we saw a lot of those features come out with 3.18, and they've polished it pretty well for 3.19. Granted, with the free flight coming in, player loads is up with the free flight, but Invictus isn't too taxing right now. So
yeah, I will say that's my experience, is that it feels like a normal day on the servers, even though it's a free flight on a weekend. That's a free flight on the weekend.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. This is we're probably seeing numbers of 50 plus K people on the servers, because that's usually what they said. Their high water box is about 50K for that. So yeah.
Well, my whole content relies on me getting in the game. But at the same time, as you know, I'm a believer in break it to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if breaking it like they just did has to continue to happen, I know it's gonna be hard for people, but it's all on the road. It's still a long road, and the road is going to be bumpy. And if you get there in the end, so be it.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the next part, the Invictus part. We talked about Invictus. We talked about how it's big. I'll start with you on this one, Expat. Your experience with Invictus so far, goods, bads. Is this your first Invictus, in fact?
Well, actually, this Invictus pretty much marks my 1-year anniversary on Star Citizen. So whoop whoop. 1 year being part of the best community on Twitch, and I think maybe one of the best communities in gaming, to be honest. And
that's too far.
there's a variation of different thoughts. Oh, is it? Okay.
No.
Okay. I won't be as nice to them.
If you give them too many compliments and they get a big ego, and then it becomes a problem. So
don't get an ad yet, chat.
So Invictus, I think is really cool. I like the event. It was, coming into Star Citizen, it was one of the first big events like this I'd seen. I'd never seen anything like this in video gaming, basically, until here. It's basically a virtual shopping store, a try before you buy, a way of getting people talking about the same things, interacting together, putting everyone in one place. There's just it's a really nice buzz. It's a really nice, exciting buzz, especially for people like myself who like to, science things and science ships. And Invictus is where I really discovered my joy for trying new things and testing new ships. And sometimes it's great because you think you're going to really like a certain game loop, and you think, oh my god, I'm going to be the best space miner, or I'm going to be the best transportation person ever. And you come to Invictus, get yourself the ship that you'd always wanted. You take it out into space, you start doing the game loop, and you're like, nope. I'm gonna go back to bounty hunting. How about that, guys? So that's what it's really great for, and it's a super thing for the community to all get involved, and they do, and the community gets loud and proud, and it's fantastic.
Monster, your question as well. Same question for you. Your experience with Invictus so far.
With Invictus so far, I walked into the event hall last night. I saw the T-shirts and the hat displays, and I went and bought one of everything and a couple Argo copies because, gotta rep the mole and all that. Yeah.
Short kings rise up.
But yeah, going through, it's a well-known fact that I think most MISC ships are ugly. So I got in there. The Starfarer was itself. The Freelancer also was itself. I was pleasantly surprised with the Fury on display, getting to go see it in person. It's like one of those magic wand glow stick things that you get at the carnivals, and strap a couple of lasers to the side of it. But yeah, I loved going and seeing the holo viewer of the A1. That ship actually. That's one I'm excited for.
Put your wallet away.
I know. someone who's I got a couple CCU tokens for that one. We'll see as it comes in. But that also does bring up a point. It's a great opportunity for players to go in and say, rent some of these ships they might not normally go out and purchase. Right? You're not going to pledge. They're not available for rental on a normal basis. You might be able to get them in Arena Commander, but getting in, being able to rent them, test them out, and I think there's a lot of people learning the dangers of the A2 with its bomb right now.
Yeah.
Getting in there, picking that up. So, but I'm a fan. Have you guys flown the Fury and the Fury MX?
I haven't myself, but I have seen people flying it. It looks fun. It looks very fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into it now, or are we?
We'll get into it later. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
All right.
Later.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold it. Hold. You know.
Hold.
Let's talk a little bit before we talk to the Fury. Let's talk about the other ships that we know are coming in. Your thoughts on them. I'll start with you on this one, Red. Your thoughts on the Lynx and the Storm, the one that we know. We've actually kind of almost got confirmation on it because it's also in the Invictus trailer now, the Temporal Storm. So
I will say, as far as the Lynx, like ground vehicles are interesting. They have their place, but I'm not one that gets really excited over ground vehicles. Now the Lynx being like kind of the luxury version of the Rover or the Ursa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see it coming into game because I think it's one of those early promises that backers have been waiting for, and a lot of folks excited about it. I will say, being a ground vehicle, it doesn't really pique my interest as much, and also like I'm out of the loop as far as the Storm. I should probably pay more attention to that.
Yeah,
but not one that's been queued in on the link on the leaks for it. So.
It's another ground vehicle, so it's probably similar kind of things. Like, you don't like ground vehicles, so it's like, or not really interested in it. But yeah,
I think when the gameplay is there, we get outposts that are going to have very heavy air cover. You can't just fly a vehicle into, your spaceships can get there 20 times faster. But when we have something that requires a ground vehicle to get in and out of, it may be one of those aspects I pay a little more attention to.
All right. Expat, your thoughts on the Lynx and the Storm, as much as you know.
Okay, so I do like, I like variety in what I'm doing in Star Citizen. I really enjoy variety. So, and I like complication, just for complication's sake. I mean, yes, 90% of every mission could be completed by, put ship here,
Mm-hmm.
but I do enjoy the complication that comes with some of the roleplay aspects and just, kind of having a bit of fun, with Star Citizen and obviously with what I do. So the Lynx Rover is going to be fantastic for me because I like the Phoenix, or at least whatever the remade version of the Phoenix is going to be. I'm sure I like the concept of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And the Phoenix currently doesn't have any VIP access, VIP transportation, anything like that. So that's a cool thing that I did a stream where basically I decided to hitchhike around the verse, and basically in chat said I will only accept VIP transport, absolutely nothing less, right? Of course,
no, none of this
away
peasant stuff. Yeah,
none of this peasant. So straight away somebody shows up in a Cutlass Steel, of course, right? And of course,
listen, that is
that there's me sitting in the jump seat. Yeah.
I was gonna say, listen, that is the finest ride from Magnus. All right, that's the most luxurious ride you could ever have in the Magnus system. So perspective.
Yeah,
maybe.
So somebody shows up in I got a Titan, I got all different kinds of ships. But basically the idea was I was going to go from, I think it was New Babbage, and I was going to go up to Tressler, and then from Tressler to Everest, from Everest to Lorville, and I did almost the entire Stanton system with that in mind, using huge amounts of money. I mean, I was doing transport beacons worth a lot of money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Only one person decided to show up in a 400i, literally opened the elevator door for me. I walked to the ship, didn't have to touch a single thing. Please, take a seat here, served me an in-flight meal, did the whole thing. And it was just super fun, right? Because that's supposed to be like a game loop in future, for sure. So the more little trinkets like that, the better for me. But does it serve any practical use at the moment? No. Is Star Citizen about having fun? Yeah. So I'll be happy to see it. As far as the Nova goes, oh, and by the way, the Lynx has really nice lighting inside. Holy moly.
Yeah.
It's got multiple different lighting variations. There's like a cool purple light that you can change between purple and gold. The chairs flip around, buttons to click on, screens to pull out. It's a lot of fun. You're gonna be sitting there feeling like a bit of a boss in the back of one of those. So if you're an org leader who finally wants some respect, damn it, then that's probably gonna be the one that you go for.
What are you talking
as far
about?
as the single seater tank,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Red, you're gonna be in a Lynx. You're gonna be like, just wait. I'm gonna take you in the back of my Lynx. You're gonna be like, I'm getting used to this. So yeah, I was in the I was looking at what is it called? The single seater tank?
Storm.
What's
The
the name
Storm.
of it? The Storm.
Yeah.
Well, you got the Nova. Arguably, the Nova could just be a single thing as well. I mean, I don't know. Do a lot of people operate the Novas with two people? I think you can do it with one, right?
I think
it
you
is
can.
possible.
It's a little bit easier to do with two, but yeah, you can do it with one.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing would be, what does it fit in, and what is the gun on the top of it? How much power does it have? Certainly going to be handy for going to a bunker and taking out the turrets before your friends come in. Also probably handy to take out the turrets before you go into the bunker in case you ask for a medical rescue. Means you're probably going to be able to have someone land really close to the bunker and come and save you. So, I mean, strategically, there's things you could do with it. If it can fit in a lot more ships, then, better for everybody, really.
Yeah. And that VIP escort, like transport services, I think that is a good call out. We've got ships like that are destined in the future, like the Genesis Starliner. But yeah, getting that type of HP, high value person in and out. Yeah. I think that's going to be an exciting gameplay loop when we get it. So
nice.
Yeah, and it'll be nice for the 600i rework too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That because it could technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could definitely fit. We probably fit two of them in there. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a little hesitant about the Storm a little bit. The Lynx looks fantastic, and I think you both kind of called it out right. It was like the Lynx is the big thing about the Lynx is that it's a VIP transport for the future. So when we have things like NPC VIP transports, it'll be very good to like, hey, I need to get from point A to point B, and you got to land here and take me there. That's where kind of the gameplay aspect will be. But for now, it's just a cool rover. Like that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah,
it's all aesthetic.
Well, yeah, and we're getting consignment cargo missions now, which I think is a step or two behind passenger transport missions. Where go to X location, pick up 50 units of titanium and take it to Y. Get that type of gameplay in, and then it's going to make sense.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But with the Storm, I don't like the look of it. It's not my bag. It just looks kind of weird. It looks like he took the Scorpion tank from Halo. I think you lie in it. You lay down in it. Yeah. I think it's like you take the Scorpion tank from Halo and mix it with the Batmobile tumbler or whatever it's called, the tumbler vehicle from the Batman series. So like
we're
it's
getting
like
the Ranger, right? So that's the Bat bike.
Yeah,
that's the Bat bike. So we're gonna have the tumbler, the Bat bike. If you ever wanted to play Batman in Star Citizen, now's your time.
Isn't the X1 also coming out on the roadmap here soon?
Soon, yeah. That too as well. So, yeah. All right. So those are all in the future. And we kind of talked a little bit about Invictus. But now let's talk about the ship of the hour, the thing that everyone wants to talk about, which is the Fury. I'll start with you, Expat, on this one. What are your thoughts on the Fury? Let's get the good side first, the good stuff that you think about with the Fury.
Well, considering I just had a defense for the Lynx rover, even though it was quite specific to a certain type and niche gameplay. Again, there's a lot of people buying this ship that I don't think necessarily appreciate that it is going to be quite niche once, the reality of this thing. Once we get past Invictus and people start actually using it in the verse, like without, instead of just funsies, it's quite a niche ship. It's designed for a group of people. It's not really designed for the solo person unless you enjoy, using snub fighters particularly, but then it's not the fastest and it's not the most, you can't, it's fun. It's a fun ship.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining little thing. It's quirky. It's cool that it fits in like the back of a Nomad. So if you do like racing, and this does turn out to be, we've still to see if this does turn into a favorite of the racing groups. But if it does, then it means that you can self-manage transporting it with something as simple as a Nomad. So that's kind of cool. It's nice that they finally developed a snub fighter that, can fit into a lot of places. We managed to get like 8 of these on the top deck of a Carrack, and it was super fun. Like, launching and flying back and, zipping down to Ghost Hollow and, doing the whole like, X-Wing TIE fighter thing, but you don't do that if you actually want to win a fight, in my opinion,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really well designed though. The detailing on it, the view from the cockpit, the fact that it's got the size 2 guns is cool. One really nice detail actually for fitting ships is that the landing gear can be operated separately to the wings, which is cool because you can fold up the wings to get it in, but then it won't stick to the ground. You'll notice with a lot of these ships, like the wings have to fold in and then the landing gear comes out and then you're hopping the ship into another ship because you can't get off the cargo grid. With this one, it's super easy because you just keep the landing gear up and you can slide right into a ship, drop the landing gear, and it's easy on and offload. So yeah, there's a few cool things with it, to be honest. And I like that I can see myself. So as someone who likes the cameras, I like that I could see myself flying this thing.
Positives for you, Red Monster, in your experience with the Fury.
The great visibility on it, yeah, it's there. I think it's fun to fly. It does pretty well there. The downside being it's got a really limited hydrogen fuel tank. After 5 or 10 minutes of advanced maneuvers, right, you're out of fuel, and if you hold that somewhere else, that's not near an outpost to go refuel at, you're gonna have a hard time getting back and forth. The ships inside ships, the landing gear was great. We were working on getting a whole group together, and partway through loading up onto the C2, we had some collisions with invisible ships. Not everybody was seeing each other.
Yeah.
So we ended up with 12.2 Furies in there and room for probably 6 more.
Wow.
So yeah, but you can fit a lot in there. I would say it's been fun to fly around, and I like the weapons loadout for other snub fighters. It's definitely an improvement, and the missiles available on the MX that's got a it's. I think to use the term, it punches above its weight class. Right, but at the same time, I think its limitations and stuff people are going to enjoy it for a bit, but I think some of the novelty is going to wear off as you realize the practical limitations, the hydrogen fuel.
Let's get more into the kind of the practical limitations, the downside. What is this ship designed to do, in your opinion, there, Red Monster?
It's designed as close support. right?
Okay.
So it's not one that's going to go out. Obviously, no quantum drive. You're not going to be traveling far from whatever carrier ship. To me, maybe it's something that can plug into a larger vehicle. It almost looks like they've taken the ball turrets off of the side of like a hammerhead and just said, okay, well, like here's an engine
Absolutely.
on you, go
Would
for
love
it,
to see
right?
that ship.
I definitely see it as a carrier fighter, a swarm fighter. Um, I would be interested in the future if we can get AI pilots. That might be a great opportunity to have AI pilots in the vehicle going distributing out from whatever your main carrier is. So, but
Okay. Expat downsides and what do you think that its role is?
So the downsides is that it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? What I'm about to say. It's a ship that is going to reward organization. It's going to reward players that are patient, that like to play in groups. It is a swarm fighter, ideally, but it will have other uses. This thing is basically a flying turret, okay?
Mhm.
You're probably more likely to die in this thing than any other ship, unless you know what you're doing. And you'd want to use it with, say, a ship that had respawn mechanics. You'd want to have backups ready to go so you could relaunch. It's something that is going to be enjoyed by a group of people that like to do the kind of cat carriers and everything. I mean, even CIG in their video basically showed that is the intended gameplay, basically, for now. How it works in the future, I mean, we don't know if there's going to be certain places in space that you're not allowed to bring a ship with a quantum drive. Maybe there's going to be caves or asteroids or anything that you have to fly into that has super limited space, but you could fly a little thing like this in. We just don't know any of that stuff yet. Maybe that's in the pipe, maybe that's hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it. But like, you'd hope that there is more to it than what we're currently seeing, because like the hammerhead idea, right, where you have a ship like a hammerhead, where you have these as remote turrets on the side, and essentially this is the ejection pod. This is an ejection pod that has guns. So this is last line of defense. We are running. We're running together, but we're running. And if somebody invades your ship, your captain's dead. The place is on fire. The engineer doesn't know what to do anymore. Time to eject. Out you go on your Fury, and last man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Last man standing. Or you head first towards the enemy capital ship or whatever and try and land this thing. Get out and fight.
Yeah.
There could be really cool things with that, but we're missing the ship. We're missing the ship that this is designed for.
Like a mothership.
It does feel like it's supposed to be a smaller component of something larger. And the other point is we're talking about this all within the context of the Stanton system. That we're relatively close with the different planets and moons. We're not going out to uncharted territory where we've got maybe a larger vehicle is going to have a hard time getting into those tight spaces, a densely packed asteroid field, something that needs to be maneuverable.
Yeah.
These are all like
and a
future,
ship,
like imagine.
If the EM signature and everything is super low on this, or if it had like a, I'm looking at, it's kind of like a jack of all at the moment, but you don't, what is the, if it had like a super, I mean, it does have a low signature, but I mean, I think it's a little nuts that they were saying that this thing is to go toe to toe with an Arrow. Arrow has a quantum drive. You get out of there. This thing doesn't.
Yeah.
If you're toe to toe with an Arrow, you're going, like, if he's not going down, then you definitely are, and there's no way out. You gotta fight or die, basically.
And that brings up a little bit more of the combat effectiveness of it. If you get weapons on you for more than about a quarter of a second, you're going to lose one of those engine nacelles, and the maneuverability goes out the window. You're going to be in a death spin as the other thrusters try and account for it. And we saw this last night during playing. It's got the low signature. It's also paper thin right now and very delicate.
Yeah, I had a couple of we had a couple of issues with like simple things like learning to fly this thing close to the ground, for example. They say that these thrusters are like main thrusters, and it's main thrusters that can go in every single direction. Well, I mean, that means that when you hit your space bar now, you go flying, like if you hit your strafe down button, you just go flying into the ground. So it's really tricky. It's not an easy ship to fly necessarily. It will reward skill. It will reward teamwork. And it's quite niche. It's an exceptionally niche product that I think they've tried to market to the mass audience. Mm-hmm. I think there'll be a lot of people using this as a token before the year is through.
Oh yeah. I think that's the big thing to keep. This is an LTI token is what this is. Less rather than an actual ship. I do think it has its value though. Personally, I'm one of those people who I really like the Merlin. The Merlin is a fantastic, and the Archimedes specifically is a very fantastic ship. It's fun to fly, and it's really it is a force multiplier on a constellation if you know what you're doing, but you have to know what you're doing.
Yep.
Like you're not sticking into a dogfight with a Merlin. Like you're going to annoy someone, then fly away as fast as you possibly can, because that you take a cough the wrong way, you die. I think it's the same thing with the Fury. The Fury is perfect for that.
Yeah, it's harassment.
It's a harassment fighter. It's designed to not go toe to toe with an arrow necessarily. It's more designed to have three of them attacking an arrow, so the arrow doesn't know which target to target, and then when the arrow chooses one, it just flies away, and then it's got to deal with the other two on it, sort of thing. Well,
when we were with the Carrack today, shout out to McGilly. I was on his Carrack actually, and basically. It gave me a chance to try and like formulate some kind of strategy with these things, like try and do it for real. How are you going to do this? And we ended up like staying in the Carrack for some of our fights, and we just decided, what, we're just going to stay in the turrets on the Carrack for this one, get this one done, and then maybe if we come up against a bigger target, we'll have the turrets plus we'll launch a couple of Furies, but we were trying to be as realistic as possible. Like if we didn't need to do the Fury, we didn't, but it was there, it was there if we needed it, kind of thing. And that might be a good role for it.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to be it for our discussion. We'll move on to the question and answer sessions. As always, thank you for watching. We'll make sure you check out RedMonsterSC on Twitch and YouTube, and ExpatBrat on Twitch. And if you are wanting to watch the question and answer session, if you're watching this after the fact in the recording, right above Red Monster's head, there'll be a link. You click that link, and you'll be able to watch the full VOD of this video. And I'll do a little bit of a plug as well that I'm going to be doing floor tours every new day. So starting Sunday and then on Tuesday and so on and so forth, I'll be live streaming myself going on the floor of Invictus and talking about all the different ships that are available, the lore, what they are, just so you can have an idea of what's going on for each of these locations. With that all being said, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and comment down below your own thoughts on Invictus 319 and the Fury. Love to hear your own thoughts. I do to check out all the questions as well. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.